All right. Are we started? No.
Oh,
Here
it's
we
live.
are.
I can see it.
We're
That's
live.
cool. Yeah, I can. Let me.
Okay.
I can-
Welcome to the first show of the TCG Show. I'm Marilyn. I run the New Jersey TCG Show, and I'm here with Anakin from MNML Cards.
Hi, everyone.
You might know Anakin from his vendor POVs and his vlog style videos, and he focuses on the Pokemon business. And I was introduced to Anakin from either Joey from Ditto Dudes or King from Pokemon To Go. I'm not sure which one of the guys, but it's around that same crew. When I first saw him on the camera, I was like, man, this kid is something. Like I was really drawn into him, and I was like, oh wow, like he was really focused on the business of Pokemon, and like he really connected with his audience, and then again with his customers. So I was like, oh wow, I really wanted to know more about him. And we had a spot that was opened up for one of our shows, and I reached out to him. I said, Anakin, we would love to have you come down to the show, but he wasn't able to make it as a vendor, but he came and he did a vlog as a buyer, and it was great.
Yeah,
Just to
cool.
see him interacting with the vendors and the different attendees, it was just like a really electric. He's really great energy, and he's bringing that over to streaming on Whatnot. So tell us a little bit about like where you are today.
Yeah, so my name's Anakin. Most people, it is from Star Wars. Most people think it, it could be or couldn't be. But yes, my name is Anakin. It's directly from Star Wars. But I run the Pokemon and TCG business called MNML Cards. I started at the beginning of 2024, or I guess the end of 2023, but officially got my LLC in 2024. And the biggest thing for me when I started was I wanted to create a space that actually showed how to run the business and was very open about the numbers. Something that I never liked when I was in past hobbies and this business now was not people being open about it. I wanted to be as open as possible and talk about the differences in how small the margins are and how volume is everything in this hobby, and that kind of open space to me to be my own unique YouTuber with the idea of really showing what the business is like and all the behind the scenes. So I came into it in 2024, wanted to do that. Things started to really start growing about 6 months into it when I became monetized on YouTube and social media started to pick up on other platforms. And now at 2025, I'm starting to build a streaming team. I vend as many shows as I can, especially in New Jersey, PA, and anywhere on the East Coast itself, and as much vlogging as I can do. And I'm constantly posting social media, especially on Instagram. So pretty much everywhere now, which is pretty cool. But it definitely started a little bit as I'm just going to post on Instagram. And then I told myself I would upload every week for a year on YouTube. And now here we are streaming twice a week on Whatnot. We're building a streaming team. We're uploading once a week, and we upload a short or an Instagram reel every single day. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. How many people have you had on the team so far? Are you just kind of like building, or are you looking for people? Have you recruited anyone yet?
So there is one person who is starting on Thursday. Shout out Aaron from Blue Beetle Cards.
Aaron.
Me and Aaron we became really good friends when I lived up near Pittsburgh. We did probably one of my earliest Pokemon deals I have ever done at the Pittsburgh show. And then I kept going back and back and back because I probably got into sports cards and Pokemon cards about, I would say, 6 months before we graduated. It was my last 2 semesters of school. That's where me and Aaron met, and it's pretty cool that he helped me in the business when I very first started. I can remember buying Crown Zenith, Entei Raikou cards off of him, and then moving in. Now I'm trying to help him, giving him an opportunity. So it's pretty cool, and I'm really excited to have him on my team. And I can't quite say any other names, but there is the potential for 2 people right now to be joining, so it could be a team of 4 very soon here.
Oh wow, that's really exciting. So where did you go to? You went to school out in Pittsburgh, and then you graduated, and then kind of after you graduated from college, was it kind of, I wanted to work for myself, or was there a place that you were working before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I should probably ask you, is this something that you're doing full time, or do you have a job that you're supplementing your income with?
So I do not do this full time. I think most people actually think I do, but
Yeah,
I don't.
I thought you did.
Yeah, it's I sometimes think I post enough where it can come off as that, but no, I do not do this. I have a really good job that I really enjoy right now, outside of Pokemon cards. But I went to Slippery Rock University up near Pittsburgh. I got my finance degree and then my information systems technology degree.
Oh, wow.
So I have both a tech and a business degree. And when I was in school, I was flipping video games, as crazy as that sounds.
Ah,
I was really into yard sales, and there were a ton in the Pittsburgh area. So me and my best friend, we would wake up always on weekends when it was warm enough, and we would go yard sale picking, and then we would flip on eBay. And I can remember going to our little apartment complex. Was the only printer near us that actually printed, like, we didn't have a printer, and so we would
uh-huh.
have to go there every single day and print all of our labels in one shot, bring them back, and actually snip them out with scissors on paper
Oh my
instead of a
gosh.
Rolo label.
Yeah.
But that's where I learned how to flip, and then he's the one who took me to a sports card show. I didn't really grow up with sports cards. That wasn't my thing, but it was really cool to learn.
I
Actually,
saw
the
you're into
first
Legos. Were you
Yes,
into
yeah,
Legos as a kid?
I'm a crazy. I'm like a nerdy kid, like 100%, and I think most people are in this hobby that are nerds, and I think being a nerd is a really cool thing. That's why I say it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up with Legos. I grew up with Marvel. I got into manga, and anime probably in the last like 4 years really heavily. I'm not an OG anime fan, so I don't want people to think that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Legos, Marvel, comic books growing up, Pokemon when I was younger. Easter morning, I can remember, this is probably the best throwback for me, but my mom had a lot of those XY tins with like Torterra as like the main promo, or Darkrai as the main promo from Level X. Those were like probably the most important Pokemon cards for me growing up.
Do you
But
still
yeah, if it
have
was
any of your old Pokemon cards?
I
Or are they
do.
all?
They're a rubber
Oh.
band. They're a rubber band
Ah.
in a little Kansas City drawstring bag,
Uh-huh.
from when
Oh,
I
that's
was
great.
younger. So they're beat to, like, they're not even Pokemon cards at this point. But yeah, I have some of them still, and it's pretty cool. If it wasn't for my best friend taking me to a sports card show, I wouldn't have found out that the thing that I actually enjoy had this entire hobby and this entire business around it. So I'm forever, every time I see him, and he asks me how it's going, I remind him that it's because of him. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I didn't even know how big shows were. I didn't realize that. Well, I've seen them on YouTube before, like sports card shows, and it was something that I
Hmm.
thought that was kind of dead. I didn't think that there was such a huge community around them. I
Yeah.
didn't know anything about Pokemon shows at all until I was introduced to them, and then I went to one and I thought to myself, okay, I think I could try this. My husband has a Pokemon business, TCG business, and
Yep.
there was a there was kind of a hole in the market to have the kind of show that I wanted to have, something that
Mhm.
was a little more organized, a little higher end, that featured other TCGs other than just Pokemon, because the primary TCG that has Rob has in his store is Magic, and there's not
Okay.
really a lot of Magic representation at shows.
Yep.
So I wanted to have a TCG show, so it wasn't just Pokemon. It wasn't that had a variety. So Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic, and it was something that I thought that I can get involved in my husband's. I'm like, get my hands in my husband's
No,
business,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
because I'm not afraid to say that I wasn't really into Pokemon. I'm just
Mhm.
recently into Pokemon. I'm going. I'm starting collecting. I was more just an organizer in the very beginning. I still feel like I'm in the very beginning,
Yeah.
but uh, the but getting into it and seeing the community that's behind Pokemon, and who are so involved with the shows, and people who have such like ties to not just Pokemon the cards, but like but the series and the video games and seeing everyone come together, it just like if it fills me in
No,
like
it's
this kind of crazy way. And because everyone has this connection to their own favorite Pokemon
mhm.
or a certain card or a certain memory.
Yeah, and
So
I think it's really cool how you do your shows because it really feels like an experience when you go to yours, and I think yours puts a lot of pressure on other shows, which is a really good thing. That's what this hobby needs. It needs somebody who is going to bring such an impactful show that people start hearing about because that's going to drive them to be better as well. But I think I would stand on a lot of vendors, including myself, would say that your show is such a dominant show that we all look forward to, and I go as a buyer. I haven't even vended it yet. So that
I
speaks a
know it's
lot.
hard to believe because
Yeah, I know.
I've seen you at so many shows. I feel like I know you from going to shows and how much you put out on social media. I'm like, oh, I know this guy.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a parasocial relationship that people start to build with you, and that's great that they have this connection with you and they want to
Yep.
come see you at shows. And that's something that a lot of people that are coming new into vending, they're
Hmm.
saying, oh my gosh, there's minimal cards, there's Ditto Dudes, there's Pokemon to go. Everyone's making these names for themselves, and it's all based on what I think that it's a lot of like it's making uh, going to going to a show and a vending experience not as scary
Yeah.
because
No. 100%.
you're just a guy. You're
Yeah.
just a guy and you're selling cards and you're sharing your hobby. And when someone walks into a hotel and they're like, oh my gosh, there's 100 vendors here. Where do I
Hmm.
start? Oh my gosh, are they going to look at my trades and think it's junk? Am I going to know enough? Are they going to be mean to me? But you see Joey, you see King, you're just people, and
Yeah.
you're friendly. You have a lot to say to them. You make them feel like they're a part of, because you are making that connection with them. And I
No.
love that. That's
Hmm.
my favorite part of being a part of these shows, is seeing people connect,
Yeah.
because there
Absolutely.
are a lot of, I mean, there's so many people that don't feel accepted within their own hobby, and then they
Hmm.
get to go and they're around 1,000 people that are all into the same thing they are. Like,
Yeah.
we all look different, we all act different, we all have like our different quirks, right? And
No.
then you go
Absolutely.
to these shows and like someone who looks like a you know like anyone, and you go up to them and you say, okay, normally or in real life maybe we wouldn't know that we had this connection,
Hmm.
but you're all coming to this Pokemon show or a TCG show, and you all are coming because you all have the same hobby, or you have at least this in common.
Yeah. No, I think what's really unique to me is because I started in Pittsburgh, a lot of my connections to start were up there. And when I was I don't know, maybe under, let's say, under 1,000 followers on Instagram, didn't really know anybody, wasn't pushing the content that I do now. I was so small. When I came here, if it wasn't for Joey from Ditto Dudes, Matt from Matthew Ninja, Philly Lurk, Ron, King, if I forget anybody, Alex, Zach, all of them. If it wasn't for all of those guys, I wouldn't be doing this, and that's the truth. And they are the reason that I learned so much, because if anybody asks me about a set, a card, a number, I'm just not the guy. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is I know what people are looking for as collectors. And one of the things that I actually spoke about, I have a video coming out called My Guide to 2025 Pokemon Buying and Selling. One of the things that I spoke about that's always on the back of my mind is there's a collector for everything out there. You just have to find that person. And that's your job. My job, yes, I should know the cards. Yes, I should know exactly which set they're from. That's what I got all them for. My job is to find the cards collectors are looking for. And if I do that, I feel like I'm doing a really good job for my business. And that's what I'm always inspired to do. So I let all those guys handle the constant, I don't know what this card is. They'll pick on me a little
Yeah.
bit. And then, but then I'm the guy that ends up having, four of them to their one. So
Yeah.
now the vintage cards, Joey, King, Ron, Matt, all them, I'm not even close to that level.
Right.
But in terms of the quantity, the volume, and stuff like that, I really don't think I would be at where I am without them. If it wasn't for Joey, I wouldn't buy singles, and that wouldn't have led me to streaming, and he knows
Oh,
that.
wow.
Because I didn't like singles when I started because I was always worried about condition, and it was something that I just was more comfortable when I had a number that said this is a perfect gem mint 10. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have even gotten into singles. So to be fair to all of them, how you're saying people come to the show to see us, it's more of a I came to the show to see them, and now I'm just following in those footsteps.
So how were you introduced to Joey and the other guys? Was it just from coming to shows,
Yeah.
or did you see their videos also?
It was so there's a few different shows, and I can't really think of which ones were which, but I actually think I met Joey and didn't even realize it at a
Ah,
show. I think I asked him probably about a card off camera in one of my very first vlogs, and I didn't even realize it. It may have been in Morse County or something like that. Had no idea. I had no idea who Ditto Dudes was. I just remember him wearing that stupid shirt that he wears all the time with Ditto on it. And yeah,
uh-huh.
I'm calling him out on that shirt because he
Yeah.
needs to get a new shirt. But yeah, so I remember him wearing that shirt, and then I know for a fact, me and King had our first conversation in Philly because I have his business card that he gave me in the back of my binder still, and we did a deal,
Wow.
and he flipped for me, and I got something at 83% when I wanted at 80% off of him. So I remember that deal like completely. I have it all on
Mhm.
video.
Was there a coin
Um,
flip or
yeah, oh yeah, there was a coin flip, and then we started talking, and then I don't know if it was King or one of them. They invited me to vend with them down in Richmond at Collecticon.
Oh,
So that's kind of how that led to it. It's a lot of and this is why I always talk about networking. I think you have to be an open book in this hobby because the more people you meet, the better you're going to grow, and that goes in any business. That's outside of Pokemon. Even what I do in the real world, like the more people you meet, the more active you're going to be, the more opportunities that are going to come to you. It's true.
so I mean, the the show is we're talking to vendors about vending, and we've talked a lot about our connections, but I want to get back to what is the day-to-day
Mhm.
for you as a vendor. So you get to the venue, you live out far away.
Yeah.
So you're coming to a New Jersey TCG show. It's over an hour plus away. I'm very
Oof.
strict. I want you to be there at
Yep.
7 o'clock in the
No,
morning.
it's
So you
true.
get there, and so what are you packing? What's
Yeah.
in your case?
Yeah, so to talk about the driving real quick, most people don't realize when I say you have to put in the work. I drive to all of these New Jersey shows, and it's over 2 hours. It is almost every single show. So I really stand on when you want something bad enough, you got to work for it. So I drive out to these shows. But the normal day-to-day like venue setup, if I'm going to a show, first things first, please always have your cards priced ahead of time the night
Mhm.
before, the day before, within 48 hours, because you want to be up to date on your latest sales. But you want to have an appealing image when somebody comes up to your table. You don't want to have somebody ask what that card is, and then you have to take the time to look it up. There should be a price point on there that is really fair to the markets. I have a good rule. The last 3 to 4, take the average of that for slabs, especially, and then just use TCG Market for singles. And if something's conditioned to, always put that on there. So that's kind of the rule with that.
The gross
Now,
rules.
yeah, those are the rules that I kind of stick to. But now that I'm implementing different types of distribution, shout out Graded Guard. I love the idea of selling a successful product at my table and being a part of that journey too. It's cool to see them growing. I believe they just hit like 20,000 followers or something, and
Wow.
they're having crazy drops. And it's really
Yeah.
cool to say that like I'm a part of that product growing, because I like being a cheerleader. I'll be in everybody's corner. So it's just something that I have at my table now that's a little bit new to me. And then I have my little banner that I put on my table that kind of shows all the social media. So I have that too. And then my camera is everything. I use a DJI camera that has a wide angle lens on it. I have the mic strapped to my chest, and as soon as that mic clicks on, I'm ready to rock and roll. So the more people that come up to me, in my head, yes, I'm doing more deals, but it's actually more social media content, which is, I'm a content creator at heart. So that to me is a little bit more important. I like when people come up and we do silly things like we TCG pocket battle for cards. We do coin
Ah,
flips. Joey
so you
comes up
like
to
the
my,
coin? You like the coin flips?
you know, maybe. It depends on the
Wait, all
day.
right.
If I'm
What do you like? What do you like more, a trade up challenge or a coin flip?
So
Which do
I
you
am
like?
not the biggest fan of the trade up challenge,
Uh-huh.
because I like the idea of challenge. I think it's really cool for young businessmen and young entrepreneurs, including myself, to always be taking on a challenge and seeing yourself grow. And with the trade up challenge, I think it's just a little bit of a like like we're almost helping.
Right.
And I think it's important for people to know that sometimes you have to work for things. So, what I like to do is to get people even trades, but into bigger cards. So, I like when individuals come up with like 3 cards worth $10 and I give them a $30 card. That to me is a little bit
Yeah.
better than a trade up. I think you should
Yeah.
evenly trade. And then that's going to allow them to be like, okay, if I have a $30 card, maybe I can go trade it for, I don't know, $35 worth of smaller cards. Then they'll start to learn. So I think that's the best way to do it, in terms of
Yeah.
any
I
way
I
of.
feel like that should be, we should educate people about that. I didn't think
Yeah.
that trading up or trading a trade up challenge that involves more than one card for a bigger card. I think
Hmm.
that that's really great. I mean, I'm not a vendor. I don't know what it is, but I see everyone's faces when
Yeah.
someone comes up to them and says, "I want to do a trade up challenge,"
Yes.
and it's always in the middle of a deal or in the middle of something else,
It
and
is.
then
Yeah.
like, hi. So yeah, I think that that's a great idea, that if you're going to do a trade up challenge, or you know someone or your child is going to do a trade up challenge, that maybe we should try and trade a couple cards for a bigger card. So
Yeah.
I think that that's great. I think that
It's
that's a great suggestion.
it's a really good teaching method, and it's important to teach that side of things because not everything's going to be handed in life, and it's
Oh
important to know
yeah.
that. And if you want to work for something, you got to work a little hard. So I think it's
And
important to do that.
you're running a business too. It's not,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
not just giving out cards to kids, because I
Now
mean there are
we
the bulk
do.
cards. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
we
the
do
bulk
have
cards, but
we do
they
give
have
out
it.
cards.
Yeah, but
I
they
think
want to
I
go
think
and trade up
Joey.
for this Charizard
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I think Joey is probably the best at giving away cards. I think he does
yeah,
the best job at that. He's definitely somebody who inspires a lot of us to give out cards. He has stacks of cards ready to go that he'll just give out, old Wizard of the Coast stuff.
yeah,
Which definitely taught me the importance of that, because it's cool to see smiles on especially kids' faces when they come up, because at the end of the day you want them to enjoy this. You want their first card show to be really important. And I think Joey kind of showed me the way of doing that when I started vending with him, and now everybody does it too. I see everybody doing it. That's a really healthy thing. But it is good to have a little bit of teaching in there and a little bit of put some work into it, and
right.
you can really see
Yeah,
some
I
cool
agree.
results.
What do you think the most challenging thing that you have had when coming to vending? Was it what you have in your supply, or is it getting sourcing more inventory? What do you
Yeah.
think is the most challenging thing?
It's always going to be the sourcing inventory. I think when it comes to this first year that I've done this, inventory was the hardest challenge of any of them. And that's because as your capital grows, you'll start to have inventory and you'll start to be able to put stuff to the side. But when you're just starting, you don't want to throw thousands and thousands of dollars into this and have as many cards you can. I don't really recommend it because I think it's smart to learn small and grow at a really organic pace. However, I think when it comes to the inventory levels, you can really underestimate how many cards you need in a day. The best feeling in the world is when you fill your entire display case and you look over and you still have a row of cards in your Zion and you're like, that's pretty good. But there's a lot of different ways. You don't just have to have cards. You can have sealed product. You can have booster boxes, ETBs, graded cards. There's different types of markets for merchandise and accessories, and there's so many ways to fill your cases. And I think people stress a ton about having just cards. But again, there's a collector for everything out there. Funko Pops is a perfect filling item that I think a lot of people really enjoy. I have a ton of Funko Pops, and I think it'd even be cool to start putting Legos on my table, but that's probably just me. So
Yeah. I'm sure, well, there's a collector for everything, and there's definitely
right.
a lot of crossover. So if you had some Legos, I mean, I'm not going to kick you out of the show for having Legos. I mean, like I think that's definitely. It brings me to my next thing. What sets you apart? Like, what makes you more unique than any other vendor when there's a sea of vendors and everyone has cases full of cards?
I think I don't know if it's the inventory, but I think it's the idea of actually being honest about every single thing I do. There's nothing I hide. And I think that's what separates me. I think people tend to notice that, and I want them to notice that. That's something that I try and really hold accountable for me and all the content that I put out. I want every single thing that I do, every price I pay, every profit I make, every margin, everything. I want it out there because I didn't have that, and that's what I've wanted for years. And I think that's what separates me. People know I'm going to be honest because everything I do is on camera. And sometimes maybe I buy low and people don't agree. Sometimes I overpay and people are like, "Whoa, why are you paying so high on that card?" It's just a matter of me being open about every single thing that I do because it's how it should be, and I didn't have that ability to learn when I started, and I want people to go back and be able to watch my videos, especially my business videos, and be like, okay, this is what he did, these are the mistakes he made, these are the progressions he made, let me focus on that, let me try and avoid that. So I think I'm a really I'm an open book, and I like the idea of being true to everything that I do.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think that being, like you said earlier about how I have a high standard for my shows, and I'm completely honest. I put everything out there, so I see that other shows are following suit with the things that I'm doing, and it's because I'm honest and I'm open, and I want to make sure that like people know what I'm
Hmm.
about, right?
Yeah,
And
no,
I
that's what
don't,
you want.
yeah, I don't, yeah.
Yep. No,
So
you have to be as yourself as possible, and it's really hard to do that on camera.
okay.
I know as soon as that camera comes on, you can get nervous, you can try and overdo things. But for me, like I feel more comfortable on a camera than I do when a camera's not rolling. I will like sometimes have anxiety if I'm not getting enough footage.
Oh,
Because that's how dominant I want to be in social media. I love the idea of social media. I love the science behind it. I love the algorithms. I love learning it. I literally read books on it. As crazy that sounds, my girlfriend's in marketing, and she bought me books this Christmas or for my birthday and Christmas about how to market in social media. I wish I would have went to school for it, but I'm happy to say I've taught myself everything with it, and I learn it every single day, and I'm trying to help other people too, which is pretty cool.
yeah. No, you are, like you said, you're open and honest about your business, and I mean, you're an open book. You're very approachable, and you're very easy to get in contact with.
Hmm.
If it's a DM or an email, you're very quick to respond,
Yep.
and that's just like that's really great, especially someone who wants just know more about what's going on with the business, or how can I do this? And having someone that is reachable it's really
Yeah.
it really helps.
It's cool when people message me and I'm able to get back to them, and
Yeah.
I see the appreciation, which is cool. I try and help. Sometimes I'm a little busy, but I try.
Yeah. What would you give as a suggestion for someone who wants to get started in social media? Would you say set up a camera at a show, or
Mhm.
like,
Eh,
or start blogging, going as a buyer,
yeah.
a buyer POV versus a vendor POV? What do you think?
So the vendor POV video is a little flooded right now.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a little bit flooded, and I think it's going to continue to get flooded. So, how to separate yourself on that is really important. Challenge videos, fantastic. I was
Mhm.
just talking to Powder TCG about this, and he's doing a phenomenal job with his social media. He does challenge videos. He sticks to what he started with. He hasn't changed over into doing vendor POVs, and I think that's really cool. But buyer POVs is actually what I prefer because I like vlogging. And it's crazy. Like, even you look at the video that we talked about the first time I came to NJTCG, and Double Mew was probably, if it wasn't for that card, my socials wouldn't have got us to where they are now.
I'm like,
And
how
I
did
made
you
that
know?
video.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, I
how
made
did you
that
know?
video, and it was, and that video has done better than most of my vendor POVs, and it's just me walking around with the camera, which to me is a lot more fun. It's a little bit easier on your time too, because I'm so active and I hate being still, and you're able to just deal if you're the one walking to a tables. So I think if you're doing anything and you want to get into this, vendor POVs are a really safe bet. You can get a ton of content, and you can push that content onto Reels, onto TikToks, onto Shorts. However, buyer POV videos don't get filmed as much, and then challenge videos are a really unique way to get into this as well.
So, how would you say that you engage your viewers? Do you think that the engagement with the comments, or just the constant posting, what's the best way, or best approach to engaging your viewers?
The consistency is definitely important. It should be that way. I think anybody who wants to do social media, consistency is probably the word you hear the most on how to be successful, but it is true. Posting every single day, except probably Friday nights and Saturdays, you don't really have to entirely focus on because nobody's on their phone those days. However,
Mm,
Sunday through Thursday, you should be posting as much as you can and making as much content as you can, to get out there. But I think the thing that I really enjoy is I don't mind really what people think about me, so I'm gonna do whatever I want on camera. If that means being, acting like a kid on camera, if that means doing a serious deal on camera, if that means traveling, if that means, I don't know, making a random, like, I could be cooking and opening Pokemon packs or working out and opening Pokemon. I don't care, and that's what I think like shows on camera. I really don't care what
mm.
people think about me, because at the end of the day, my success will come if I'm who I am, and I like that.
Yeah, I think that you're extremely genuine, like who you are in real life and who you are on camera. I think that they're definitely the same person, or at least the person that I've
Yeah.
experienced.
Yep.
The so with Pokemon as a hobby, and the state of the Pokemon market right now, what do you think that is what do you think the best thing to do as a vendor? I know that you said within 48 hours of going to the show, you should be uh, checking your prices. Do you think that that's
Hmm.
something that you should still be doing in real time, or
Yeah.
is it something that, like, do you just trust whatever the price is? I mean, it seems like the fluctuations in prices are going up
It's crazy.
daily,
The
hourly. It's
market's crazy right
crazy.
now.
I
Yep.
mean, when you bought those bubble mews at the New Jersey TCG show, they're not at all what they are now, and I'm curious to know if you have any left, or did they
No,
all go in the whatnot stream?
I did stream quite a bit of raw ones, and I did stream one PSA 10 in my very first stream. I
Uh-huh.
kind of regret that now because it went for full price at that time.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but no, I'm all tapped out on Bubble Muse.
Oh
I
my
did
gosh.
exactly what I wanted to. I
Uh-huh.
started to get the minimal Mew name, which was kind of funny. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just saw the opportunity in the card. I thought it was a beautiful card, and it's something that I have my hopes on. I do have a card in mind for 2025 that I'm really high on. I have a video coming
Mm-hmm.
out about it, and
Any
I'm gonna
dates
be
till we
all.
get you to
Uh,
leak it?
it's in Chilling Rain. How about that? We'll throw out the Chilling Rain. I posted it a
I'm
couple
sure people
times.
in the chat or someone's gonna be able to figure it out.
Oh yeah,
I
they'll
mean,
all know
they
which
chat
card I'm buying.
maybe.
But yeah, it's in Chill and Rain. That's the set I'm really big on this year. And I think I think if I don't know, if every other card has done as well as it has, if you look at the Gengar, you look at the Moonbryon, and I don't even know what card. I guess the Rayquaza VMAX is doing really well still too. I
Mhm.
think it's around $900. But you look at these cards, and they all have similar qualities of the bright colors on them. The
Mhm.
Pokemon is really centered well. It is the only thing you pretty much see on that card. And then there's so many little Easter eggs around it that
Mhm.
if you take this card from Chilling Rain, which it looks like people are starting to kind of figure out in your chat. But the Blaziken
Mm.
VMAX is a very, very cool card that I'm really huge on. And it's just a beautiful card. So that's the investment that I'm going to be making for 2025. I'm going to actually put some to the side because since I was starting my business, the first 3 years for me, it's a 3-year plan of quick flip, quick flip, quick flip, don't get attached. And that's what I
Mhm.
did. I stuck to that with the Bubble Muse. In fact, for 2024, I
I
kept
thought that you
one.
were holding on to them for your PC. I didn't know what your plan was for
I don't
them.
have one.
I
I
thought you were like me because like I like Chansey and I keep on buying the same
no.
Chansey.
I have two relevant cards besides my side art cards. My side art collection's pretty cool, but
Mhm.
I kept one card in 2024, and I kept one card when probably within the first month that I started, just because it has a little sentimental value to me. But yeah, that's it. And then I have one other really random card in my PC. So I have I'll say a 2.25 card PC, as crazy as that
Wow.
sounds, minus side up cards.
Wow, that's
Not a
incredible.
lot.
Like yeah, it's really not. That's not yeah, but that's great that you're not getting attached to them. They're
Hmm.
just
Yeah,
the quick flip
it's
and like
important
just
to
reinvesting into your business. I mean,
exactly.
that's the most important thing, especially if you want to grow quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when you want to start this, you have to understand. I started with $200. I never put a dollar back into this
Wow,
business outside of that.
that's
And for
fantastic.
me, those Bubble Muse are the reason where I am now. They really, really helped me. I got
Mhm.
really lucky. It's kind of like hitting like a crypto coin or a stock. Like
Right,
I
right.
hit that and I was like, this is fantastic. So I capitalized on that, and now I'm in distribution. So I have distribution coming in.
Oh,
I
good.
have a ton of singles at shows. I'm basically just buying singles at this point, and then I'm focusing on just buying the main alt arts in PSA or vintage first edition from PSA 8 and up. That is the lanes that I kind of stay to now.
Was it hard for you to get distribution?
Yeah, yeah, it is not easy, but what comes with that and how that happens is by talking to people. It all
Yeah,
goes back to that
exactly.
network. It was
It's
really difficult until I met people through people and then really became really good friends with them, and then I like call them all my like grandpa because
yeah,
they're
yeah,
all
yeah.
like there's so many of them, and I just call them like they're all helping me at like left and right. And so yeah, I'll call them all those kind. I'll call my dad or my grandpa and be
Yeah.
like, that's the guy right there." So yeah, I like it. It takes some time. It's really difficult. I won't like kind of camouflage that, but when you get it and it starts to work really well, and now building a team on stream, it's going to be really important for me because I'm going to try and get them different opportunities as well, which means the distribution is getting more orders. It's building a good relationship, and that's what I'm about.
That's awesome. So you would say that your future goals are building your team and then being able to really grow your whatnot stream, or do you find yourself, do you want to have more time so you can do your own vlogs, or do you want to step away from stream, so, or vlogging, or going to source more products so you can have other people do the streaming for you? Or what exactly do you think that the 2025, 2026, where do you see minimal cards going?
Yeah. So my goal, I have wanted to be a social media presence since I was in high school. I wanted that so bad, and that sounds really bad to say, but it's really true. But I want it for the right reasons. I don't really care about the I don't know, people recognizing people. I don't care about that. I'm just a normal dude. Come say hi. Let's just have a real conversation. Let's just chill. Let's, I don't know, play video games together or something. But for me, it's always been about creating content and loving that and the idea of social media. So I think for me, I'm never going to be somebody who's going to be able to put down the camera or put down the stream or put down the work. I am like the most workaholic person that I have ever met, and it's like kind of bad sometimes. I have learned over the last year to be able to put the work down is really important, and
Do you ever
I'm
go on
happy.
vacation, or you're vlogging on vacation?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
do you ever take any time off, or is it just go, go, go?
no, this past year I was buying Pokemon cards on the beach, and I got that didn't sit very well. So
Yeah.
that was a good realization for me that I need to kind of pull it back. And I'll tell you what, the work, the quality, the time has gotten so much better since I realized that. I really enjoy having time with, especially my girlfriend. It really is nice to put my phone down. So if I never answer somebody, I probably don't have my phone on me. I have a separate area for my phone now that I put when I like try and crash or something like that. Like I just keep it away from me, because if I don't, I'll be up till 3 a.m. trying to buy and sell and do deals, and it's just not a healthy thing. And it takes a lot to learn. But for me, I'm never going to be somebody that's going to be able to put the camera down, because I believe in building other people up. That's my goal with this entire team. I would like to see the individual who starts on Thursday, Aaron, outgrow me one day. I would like to see the individual starting in February outgrow me. And then if they're winning, that means I did something right. And that's really cool to me. But yeah, I'll always be streaming. I'll always be filming. It would be nice to eventually get to the point where like I have them streaming while I'm filming, because I love filming. And I would like to start making like really good quality videos that are like, I don't even want to, like, I
Like
need
high
somebody to film
production?
me. I need somebody to film me. I need a
Well,
cameraman to walk around.
we
And I
have
think,
vloggers that come to the shows that they have
yeah,
cameramen, and I mean, the quality video is really great,
it's
and it's
insane. And that's
something
what
that
I
you don't
want.
have to. It's one less thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah, I'm like thinking the whole time, like I gotta put my camera down, and then I'm like, let me ask this guy if I can put my camera on their table,
Yeah,
and then I'm like filming, and then it's like showing my double chin, it's like right up from underneath me, and I'm like, this is just not
you're like,
the
get my good
quality.
angle, okay?
Yeah, like I need that better angle coming down, like from this, but nobody's as tall as me, so that's a struggle. And then
Oh
like,
yeah, see,
yeah,
that
they're
was
gonna be
actually
like
one of
up
the
here.
questions that we had, like you're a
Oh, I
big
know.
tree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big
so
tree. That's what they all call me. I don't. It's because I said it. We were talking about the Crown Zenith dogs, the three legendary dogs, and I was like the big tree in a like
yeah.
a video or
Oh,
something, and then that's how it started, and it has stuck,
oh,
and now they all call me it.
yeah. They all want to climb it. So yeah, I got a couple
Yeah.
questions about climbing the big tree. So that I guess that brings us to the some of the questions that we had from people
Okay.
on through Instagram. What did your inventory look like when you first started, and what do you typically have in your case now?
My inventory probably looked like if you had 3 of each of the main Crown Zenith dogs. So I had 3 of those each on me at all times. And then I was really big on buying promos when I started because the promo really has a set price and they're really easy to get, but they're really hard to 10 because they're so mass produced. So I had a ton of promos, a ton of Crown Zenith because that's the set that got me back into the hobby. So I guess it would be trainer galleries. Those were how I started. And now I don't know the total counts, but there's probably I don't even know if I want to say. There's probably a couple thousand singles sitting next to me. Let's just keep it at that number.
Wow. Well,
Um,
when you're doing your streams, how many singles do you go through? I mean, you have to
yeah,
source all of these singles,
yes.
but then how many do you have to send out on so you do your streams twice a
Hmm.
week?
Yep.
On average, how many are you going through a week or a day?
It's 250. It was, I should say, it's going to change tomorrow, but it was 250 singles a stream. And then depending on how many packs I've done, I would kind of implement that into then. But now it's going to be 350 auctions for
Wow.
me each. So twice a week. So 700 auctions. It has to be 700 packs or singles every week going out. And then there's also the buy it nows. There's the giveaways. So I would say on a monthly basis, there needs to be 3,000 pieces of inventory I'm able to rotate through now.
Are you shipping all of that yourself, or do you have
Yeah.
anyone that's helping you
No,
show them?
I hired my girlfriend to help me with my end of year stream. So it took
Uh-huh.
us I streamed for a little over 4 hours, and then it took us 3 hours and 40 minutes to do 153 orders,
Wow.
which is a lot. And it's nice how Whatnot works. The labels are pre-printed. You can just print them all in one go. You can pull up the order. It gives you numbers. It's a really good platform on how they do it, but it is a lot. Luckily, I work from home, so I have a little bit more time. I don't have the driving time during the day. That's
Mhm.
the time. And then usually, if I stream, I'll probably wake up really early to package before I work. And I have like a really OCD about it. Like I have the under 1 day shipping, so I'm
Mhm.
super OCD about it. But yeah, I'll just say a couple thousand just to be like I'm really humble with it. It's really really cool.
That's awesome.
It's pretty sick to see. And then the distribution is starting to need a new shelf, and then the graded guards and the slabs are completely separate. My show inventory is completely separate from my streaming inventory. It's a lot.
And it all
So
started with $200. So
it all
I mean,
started with $200.
that really shows you what happens when you snowball all your
Yeah.
money
And what's
and
crazy about it
reinvest
is
back into your
the
business.
first the first card I flipped was a sports card. It wasn't even a Pokemon card.
Oh,
I needed a certain amount of money to get the Pokemon cards that I wanted. So I found a Tom Brady card and I flipped that. And I have a picture
wow.
of it still. That's actually the very first card I
Ah,
flipped. It wasn't even a Pokemon card.
do you recommend for someone's first show, did they go to a smaller show, or do you think that they should just jump right into a big show like a New
Mhm.
Jersey TCG show or a
Yeah.
Collecticon? Because there's some vendors that I meet that their very first show is a Collecticon, and it's shocking to me that that's the first place that they went, and then now
Yeah.
they're going kind of like back, and I don't want to say backwards, but they're going to more local shows. So for someone who's just starting out, would you recommend they jump right into a Collecticon or a larger
Mhm.
show, 100 table show, or do you think that they should go to a smaller like VFW type show?
I think going to a smaller show is probably the right call. For me, I would just go all out. I would go to Collecticon. It's the coolest
Yeah.
thing in the world. Like it is unreal. It's kind of like
How
going to
many
like
Collecticons did you do last year?
I did two. Yeah, two. And flying to Houston was I couldn't believe that I got to fly for this. That was really cool, and it was cool to pay with it with the money I earned completely through Pokemon. The flight, the hotel, or I'm sorry, the Airbnb, the food, all of that. It all went through the business, which was really cool. I was really proud of that moment. It was a lot because I left on a Friday night and came back on a Sunday night, and that's a lot.
A
But
whirlwind, like
yeah,
going to
it's
Houston and then coming back and all that adrenaline, and I'm sure you
yeah.
worked on Monday,
Oh yeah.
right?
And
Yeah, you can't stop.
it's kind of I don't know. I would go all out. That's just me. I'm gonna say the right thing to do is go to a smaller show. But if I'm
Uh-huh.
bringing anybody to a show, it's to a Collecticon. It's to the NJTCG show. It's to
Good show.
yeah, it's to there's shows in Connecticut that I really love. I drive 5+ hours just to go up there to the big casino for EC3 Con. That's a great one. Like those type of shows I would bring somebody to because I get a lot of doubt and a lot of people don't quite get it. Then when you see it, you're like, so that's where it kind of that's why I think I would do it that way. I would take them right like the National Sports Card Show, which a lot of
Yeah.
people hated on from the Pokemon perspective. I completely disagree. They just didn't look hard enough because
Mm.
I did so well at that show because there were so many
Well, you
cards.
bought it all.
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
did, and that's the
You
truth.
bought it all.
It was
That you didn't
me.
leave anything for him, for
Yeah,
them.
it was me and like maybe 5 other main Pokemon people who I didn't even know were main Pokemon people at the time. I can't think of his name right now, but he was it's the individual that I bought my first Poncho Pikachu off of, who I later went on to Lord Rush Pokemon, I think is his name. I
Hmm.
went on to find out
Shout
that
out.
was him, and then he's like in all these videos doing these huge deals, and he's like one of the front runners at Collecticons because he owns a store, and I was like, had no idea. So yeah, that's it's I would go all out.
Uh, so we had a question about sourcing inventory, and you said that the best way to source your inventory, that's going to shows and flipping cards, trading cards.
Mhm.
Then you also have your distribution. And how much wiggle room do you usually have when negotiating with customers?
From a buyer perspective or from I'm a vendor.
When you're vending, so you have someone who's coming up to you and you have a $50 card and they said, okay,
Okay.
well, market is 48. I'll give you
Yeah.
45. Like
So it's
what's your wiggle room?
it's a volume game. That's
Hmm.
I think that's the difference. Like most people there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it the way that I do, which is high volume, or you can do the super expensive 10% is $300 type cards. So for me, when it comes to high volume, I buy everything at a correct number where it allows me to have around the 5% wiggle room on. So if a card is, let's say you said $48, $4.80 would be 10%. So if somebody said 45, like I would be totally okay with that. Because I kind of give myself that much wiggle room from what I pay for it. But when it comes to like larger cards, instead of taking less money, I actually like to trade.
Mm.
I think a really smart thing that I didn't learn until I started vending was the idea of trading at a percentage. So you take $100 card, and if you want to trade at 80% of that value, you do a 1.2x on it. So you want to trade for $120. And that can really boost you because if you buy that card lower than $100, you're actually making more than 20%. So I guess that's a little vending. I don't know if it's a secret
Yeah.
anymore,
You
but
gotta you
yeah,
gotta you gotta
that's
get good at math too. You gotta be
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
You
Your
know?
math, the math, and that you need. If you didn't do your rocket math, you're just you're not in it.
Yeah, you gotta put your phone down. Like that's the thing too. Like when someone's engaging your table, if someone's sitting on their phone or not really talking or not even looking at you, sometimes I mean I don't buy huge cards at shows, but my husband does. And sometimes I'll be walking up to a table and they don't even acknowledge like there's someone standing there or anything, but
Yeah.
you don't know who I am. And then I'll do my little loop around the show, and then they find out that like, oh, she runs a show, and then everyone wants to talk to me. See, like I like that always rubs me the wrong way. Like
Yeah.
you have to talk to me like whatever. I could be anyone walking up to your table, and like it really, I feel that way about anyone. Like even when I
Hmm.
go up to people's tables, I'm talking to them, even if their inventory isn't something that I'm looking for. I'll talk to them and just like chit chat because like
Hmm.
I'm at a show. That's what I like to
No.
do.
Yeah. You
And
build
yeah,
relationships.
really, it's so different to walk around walk around shows and you see people just like sitting on their phones and like on Instagram or TikTok versus someone who like you're up, you're like, even if no one's at your
I
table,
know.
you're bouncing.
I
Your
know. I
head's on a
can't sit
swivel.
still. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important for me to let somebody know that there's, you know, it's crazy because the best way to vent is to have something at every I guess financial level is the best way of
Right.
saying it, as bad as that may sound. You want to have a card where if somebody walks up to your table with $5, $100, or $5,000, they can buy it. And that's something why I think it's important to always have singles. Now, I don't typically do this because a lot of those singles are for my stream. So I have a reason to not have them out. However, there are the times where I like to put a binder out full of, especially 151. Like if I want to have a really good show, I know if I put this binder out, it's going to be a really good show. That's just how it usually goes. But there are times where I decide, like, I'm like, okay, would I rather just kind of deal higher end today, or would I rather do all of it? So I don't always do it, but I'm going to say it's the right thing to do. Where you should have that financial ability for anybody to come up to your table and afford something. And if you do that, people really enjoy that because you can have a conversation with anybody, and you should never
Right.
judge somebody on anything when they walk up to your table. Like anybody across from me is the same person as me. There, and I'm always on the buyer. I love being on the buyer side because I think it's great when I'm able to get a deal off vendors, because then I'm like, yeah, buddy, like
Yeah.
that's cool to me. Like that's successful. So and there's a lot of vendors that I'm really cool with, so usually they're a little easier on me.
Yeah. So
But
with the
there are,
wiggle room, it's like, if I know the guy, if he's a
yeah,
friend of a friend, if I know this is going to come back another day, like they have really cool
yeah, no, and
inventory, or I know I
that's how
can get
you
the
do it.
singles, so there's a little more wiggle room. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like it all comes back to the networking. Also, it's like,
yes,
okay, this guy gave me a little bit of a deal. I'm going to
yep,
take care of him, and like you know that they're going here, or maybe you can get a chance to go there also,
hmm,
just based on like, because Collecticon, right? So Atlanta Collecticon sold out in 2 minutes.
under
And
2 minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't
right.
get a
So
table.
I mean, but the people who did get a table, maybe they got a section.
Yes,
And
yeah, that's
you're putting it
exactly
out
right.
there saying like, oh, okay, I don't know someone. Oh, I think my headphone just died.
Let me know if you can still hear me or not.
I could hear you. All
Okay,
right, good.
cool.
All right, we're
Um,
back. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so but it's all about like networking too. So maybe like for instance, I knew a bunch of people that didn't get tables for Collecticon, but I did know someone who was able to get a section. So
mhm,
I was able to kind of like make the connection, or like, hey, do you know this person, or like, are you cool if I
yeah,
give this person your information so you can make a connection? Just because, and like I just like being someone who knows a lot of people within the Pokemon community and in this space, that I wouldn't recommend this person, but I would recommend that person. And
no,
it's all based
100%.
on like the connection that I have with
Hmm.
them. Not that I necessarily like buy a lot from them, but it's the way that they treat me and the way that they treat others. And I
Yep.
see everything, and everyone talks,
Yeah,
right?
everyone talks. Your name is so important.
right? I mean, like that's all you have. I mean, like your reputation is everything here. And if
Yep.
you see that this person made like there's a video about you, or a video about the people that you associate with, maybe you want to, rethink that, or
Yeah.
like you are who you're hanging out with. And
Yeah.
part of it is like it's it could be a little like damaging, because maybe not you, the person that did something, but it's also like you are
Yeah.
who you hang out with.
I think what's good about where I am is my group that I can call really good friends now through this, which is crazy, but and I'm really really happy to have them in my life because I've learned
I think I lost you.
alarms going off over the last year. And it kind of taught me the importance of that. So you want to have people around you that want to be successful. If
Right.
you surround yourself by people who want to be successful, you'll inevitably end up successful. And I think I'm like 10% of where I want to be. So I don't call myself successful at all yet. Like I'm not even close. But I know the people
You're
around
at
me are,
someone's goal right now. Like right now,
nah,
where you
well,
are right now is someone's goal, and
yeah, but
that's fantastic. I'm very proud of everything that I've seen you do
I
over the last
appreciate
year,
that.
Anakin. I mean, like it's
No, thank
awesome
you.
just to see you grow and like the content space and all the connections that you've made and the people that you've touched.
Yep.
Like it really is
I
incredible
appreciate that.
how
That's
you
very
put
sweet.
in the work and it's all coming back, and
Yep.
just to see you grow this team and everything that you're doing, I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
he's been at it for a little over a year, about a
Mhm.
year, and it
Yep.
just really, it's the energy you put out, it's coming back tenfold, and I'm just like, whoa, this, I mean, like the world, it's out there for you. You really just have to just grab it. You really just have to go and get it.
Yeah, but like you said, how if somebody would inspire to be like me, like there's people around me who I inspire just to be like, or
Right.
I learn a lot, or I know they've been in the space for a very long time, and I know to keep them really close to me, and I've learned. So you surround yourself by successful people, and hopefully one day I, along with a lot of other people, will end up successful. But just never be content with where you are. Always want to grow, and that's my mentality. I think if I made like, let's just say I sold 100,000 Pokemon cards, I think I would be upset that I didn't sell 100,001. That's just who I am. So that'll always be in the back of my head.
Well, I think that you're doing great. I'm really proud of where I see you going. I think
Hmm.
you're awesome. So just to get back to some of the questions, how do you organize your singles for stream? How would you say that
Ah,
you, for someone who's getting started out, and how do
oh,
you have
actually,
a thousand singles that you're going to be using on stream? Where do you
I can
start?
show.
That,
So it's
wait, hold on. I'm like, hold on.
yeah.
Is that 1 week, or how long does
This
it take
is
to get through that?
this is half a stream, so I do two of these a night.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but how I organize is I pull out of an ETB. I kind of set myself up to be ahead of it, but I'll have 8 to 10 cards, and then I run a different set. Because again, it goes back to you want to have something that everybody wants. Maybe somebody doesn't want Japanese cards. Maybe somebody doesn't want English singles. Maybe somebody doesn't want singles. They'd rather packs. You want to have something for everybody. I have my graded guards ready to go on the side too, and then I have the new Eevee set here too. So I have a little bit of everything that I run every single night because organization is
You're
really
the
key in
product.
this. Yeah, yeah.
I
And
tell
you don't want to
people
be
that
slow.
almost every day. Like when someone's asking me about a table, they want to be right by the door. They want to be this person. They want to go, they want to be close to this person. They want to
Yep.
be over here. And I tell them, and they're like, or they'll ask me, where's the best place to go? And I always tell them the same thing. I say, you're the product.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you have on your table, because sometimes, I mean, absolutely every single time, if you have what they're looking for,
Hmm.
they're going to buy it from you, and it's not necessarily a card. You
No, and
just
that's
go and you're
exactly.
kind to them, and you know there's a connection. This might not be a card that they're necessarily looking for, but they're talking to you and they're connected to
Mhm.
you, then they're going to buy from you.
Yeah,
And
and
I really truly believe that, especially, I mean, with a whatnot stream or a vendor where there's 500 vendors around you.
mhm,
Like you have to set yourself apart by your personality or what you have to offer. And I
yeah,
think that that's something that you set yourself apart from,
yep, and
because
that's
you're able to engage people in that way.
and it comes with time. Like when I started, what I would do is I would literally put like 50 cards in a pile and just keep them to my side, and then I learned
Mm-hmm.
that it's quicker to do like 5-second auctions, which keeps people
Mm-hmm.
around more because you're going through different things, so they might see something they like. And then I started realizing, well, I'm not opening anything on stream, so maybe people want to open packs. And then I started realizing that people might not want me to open the packs, maybe they want to open the packs themselves. And now it's kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, what can I do next?
Hmm.
But for right now, the next part is building a team.
Yes. Uh, when you're vending, do you think that it matters that sports cards and Pokemon cards could be scattered together, or do you think that they're better when they're in separate rooms or in separate shows completely?
It it's difficult for me because I really like football cards. I have an entire football card collection, so I buy higher. I probably own more higher end football cards in my life than I do Pokemon cards. Because I like the idea of collecting players. So for me, it's really cool to combine those. However, what I think is important is to separate the rooms. So I think they should be at the
Hmm.
same shows, but I think it's important to separate the rooms because the idea of somebody coming in and being like, this is what I want, you should be able to get to
Hmm.
that. You shouldn't have to like
Right.
look through. Now, if you're going as a buyer and you want to flip cards, it's great when sports card people are selling Pokemon or Pokemon
Hmm.
people are selling sports cards because they're probably not as attached to those as
Right.
their main product. So you have a little bit more room. But yeah,
I
separate
think
rooms.
you're spilling the secret sauce right there.
Oh, I
People who
know.
want to
It's
source these singles, they're going to be
yeah, I mean
going to the sports cards
yeah, I hope people
shows.
take advantage of it. There's opportunity out there. You just have to go look. That's why I did so good at the National because I stayed all 5 days
Yeah.
and I dug, dug,
Oh my
dug, dug,
gosh.
dug. Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh.
Eventually you start seeing the same thing over and over again and you're like, man, like it's getting
Yeah.
repetitive. That's why I like 2 day shows. 2 day shows are perfect. You just need two
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, we have our first two day
I
show coming up in
know.
April, and I'm nervous, but I mean, I'm ready. I'm sort of, I guess, maybe we're gonna just
Yeah.
go for it. I mean, like I
Are you
think
doing trade
now's the
night?
time.
Are you
Yeah,
doing a trade
yeah, we're
night?
gonna do.
Cool.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna
See,
do a trade night
I
on.
love trade night.
Yeah, the bar offered us the area, so we're gonna have it's a pretty
Nice.
big restaurant bar area, so we're gonna
Yep.
be able to do a trade night in there. So
Cool.
yeah, on Saturday night between the Saturday and Sunday night show or Sunday shows, there's gonna be a
Hmm.
trade night.
No, that's great. Yeah,
So we've
that's when it's fun.
yeah, because all the vendors get to get together, and it's not because all of the attendees have gone home. So now you've got
Yeah,
pockets full of
can
cash, and you
kind of
also have
relax. Can
lots of
kind of relax a little
lots.
bit.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we have gone way over, and so we're going to start closing up. So, what advice would you give to someone who's brand new to vending, who wants to get into vending,
Mhm.
and they don't know where to start? What would you tell them to do?
Don't be worried what people think. Don't be worried when you tell them your ideas. If you want to be able to flip cards, if you want to buy Pokemon cards, you want to invest in Pokemon cards, the last thing you should ever listen to somebody tell you is you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. Because I heard that so many times when I started, and the biggest advice would be to prove them wrong. That's my goal. That should be everybody's goal. And if you want to make a business out of something, if you're consistent with it and you want to make content, you want to be a vendor, you want to be the biggest whatnot streamer, whatever it may be, that's it. That's what you got to do. Prove as many people wrong as you can because that's inevitably why I do what I do. I want to prove as many people wrong that said I couldn't. I love that. That's like fuel to the fire.
Who said that
Um,
you couldn't? I'll get
I
them.
got you know what's crazy?
Like,
I got like a I would say like a I actually have a list. I have a list. But I got a
mm-mm.
list in my back pocket of things I've been told, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why I kept that, but I did. And I love it. It's like I'll show what I can do.
Yeah, well, you're really doing it.
I hope so. One
You're
day.
to, minimal cards to the moon, right? You're
Yeah,
just like
minimal cards to the
you're
moon.
building your
Exactly.
team. You've built a really great solid foundation, and
Yep.
you're building up from here. So where could we find you? What are
Yeah.
your social media platforms? Where could we find you?
So I am on YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot. I'm also on TikTok, but that's not really where I try and push people. So Instagram and YouTube. I always want to be a content creator. That's what I've wanted to be since I was in high school. So those are the biggest ones. And then over on Whatnots, we're going to be streaming Tuesday, Wednesday. Aaron will be streaming Thursdays, and then eventually it will be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By the end of the
Wow.
year is the goal. And then hopefully within 2025 to 2026, it's multiple streams per day. So that's the goal. So Whatnot, Instagram, YouTube, Minimal Cards, MNML, whatever it may be. That's where I'm at. That's where I'll
Yeah,
stay.
when I first met you, or when I first was introduced to MNML, I was like, MNML. I was like, it was before I knew your name.
Yeah.
I was like, what's his initials? I was like, why is he for it? I was like, I don't know. And then someone said, oh, that guy, Minimal Card. I was like, that's what it is.
No, and you know
I was
what's
like, oh
crazy?
my God.
It's because it didn't fit on my sticker. That's why I changed it. It was too long for my
Oh.
sticker, and I was like, hold up, that's it's not gonna work. So I changed it because I was like, okay, I could spell it like minimalistically, but then I was like,
Right.
nah,
Oh, I know.
it's
Now
because it
it's
didn't
like
fit on my sticker. It's because it didn't fit on the sticker.
I was like MNML. I was like, oh, it seems must be like Michael or something. I was like, oh, I was
Minimal.
like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there. And so someone at a show said, oh, that guy, Minimal Cards. I was like, that's his name. I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh, Marilyn, stupid. But you know, it was definitely a conversation piece, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
So
I get called a lot of things. Yeah, it definitely is like I gotta tell people. I'm like, no, it's like minimal. Like
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like when you see like it's the minimal, yeah, it makes sense now. I'm
yeah,
like, oh,
sticker. It didn't fit. That was literally it. It was too long. It was sticker name.
So the next show that you'll be vending at are you going to be at Collector's Paradise this weekend, or where's your next show?
I'm not at Collector's Paradise. I am at the Pokemon Market Show. Then I have your show, NJ
New Jersey
TCG.
TCG Show, January 25th, 2025, Delta Hotel, Somerset, New Jersey.
Got it. And then yeah, I'll be at the Pittsburgh show, where I'm going to see Aaron the following week. And then who knows what shows. My calendar is it's getting a little heavy, and I kind of like it I like it when it looks a little lighter, and then I'm like, wow, that's a lot of shows coming up. But yeah, I got 2 New Jersey shows, NJTCG being the best, and then Pittsburgh show, which I'm driving up there to see my new streamer. It'll be pretty much a month recap when I see him, which will be really cool. It's gonna be a lot of learning, and I'm all on board. He's all on board. The individual starting in February is all on board, and yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see what's next. Keep the content coming. I really feel a great connection. I mean, like you connect with your audience in such a way, and I'm really, really glad that I was introduced to you. I'm so grateful that you were able to be on episode 1.
No,
this
that's
is
cool.
The thing. I mean, like the whole, not to bring it back to Anakin, because like also having a first name that is of a famous person. I mean, like, and constantly being asked if I'm named after someone. I was like, I'm not going to go there with him, but you know, like episode 1. And you're Anakin. I was like, it was meant to be. It was totally meant to be.
And hopefully episode like 100, we come back and I'm like,
right?
Pretty cool, right? We can see where everything's at.
So thank you again, and I'll be seeing you soon. And thank you for the audience for sticking around if you have.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty cool.
Well, the next episode of the TCG show is going to be with Joey. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Joey from Ditto Dudes, and he's going to tell us about his experience of being a vendor and what's next for him. So
yeah, right. Joey will be a good host, I guess. He'll be a good host.
All right, thank you.
All right, Marilyn. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.